How do you do? 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 God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you for coming around. It's certainly a pleasure to see me in person. This is delightful. This is fantastic to be in such an awesome theater. This is one of the great theaters probably in the world today. And it was, I heard it was out of commission for something like 60 years. And since then, trees grew in it, and shrubbery grew in it. Looks like a park with walls around it, I don't know. But it's a stunning thing to see, and I think the building is so great that even if I stink, it's worth spending an evening here. All the critics are here tonight, so they're probably hoping I stink, so this way they'll have something another Jew to louse up for an hour. Everybody says, I don't listen to critics, I don't care what critics say. I see what I like, and I go where I like to go, and nobody can influence me. They're full of shit. If the critics say your show stinks, the next day it becomes a park again, and shrubbery will be growing again. Because the people are basically too cheap to go see a show that anybody else said stinks, and I can't blame them. If a critic says something stinks, you don't want to go there because you're saying to yourself, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to them. What happened? You don't hear too good? Do you have trouble hearing me back there? Oh, so the man was telling the truth. You can't hear me at all? No? If you can't hear me, how do you know what I'm asking you? No, this is no subject for comedy. It's unfair. People paid for a ticket, not in that section, but they paid for a ticket. There's a lot of mystic professors here tonight. I don't know if you heard about it. You people in the front, I know, all paid to see the show. But on opening nights, you always have 300 critics. Only 2 write for a paper. The rest used to write. They almost wrote. They try to write. They have a pencil close enough. And then they have friends who they know somebody who knew somebody else, so they're supposed to see the show for nothing. And it's all a collection of people who have no place to go. There's a guy working, the seat is empty anyway, what does it cost you? That's how Jews go every place for nothing. Does it cost them anything? What does it cost you? So I'll take this for nothing, I'll take that. But Jews can never enjoy a show once they pay full price. Once they pay full price, everything they watch stinks after that. It's a good joke, but it's with this kind of money, I don't. I've seen him before, so it's a different joke. It's the same guy, it's the same accent, it's an old story, Chabbos and Drad, it's not the kind of money he makes, I can't even believe it. Then every Jew becomes my accountant. How many people would you say there are in this building right now? Makes a comfortable living, puts on a jacket and a pair of pants and makes a living, son of a bitch. Do you have trouble hearing me? Did it get any better? You still can't hear me back there? No. Maybe I could go from person to person and do it again. I can't figure this out. They had all this money for a building, nothing for a microphone. You figure this out? This is supposed to be a major country. I never heard of Canada till 2 weeks ago. That's not nice to say. This is a great country and it's a fantastic city, but microphones is not their field. Well, how come you people are laughing if you keep saying you can't hear me? Well, who are you laughing at if you can't hear me? Answer this question or get the hell out of here. Maybe we should get a real microphone. Hello? No, I'm trying to make a joke out of it because this is not a place to take it too seriously. Did you actually pay admission, mister? You paid full price because you're looking at me like you're trying to get even with me. You paid full price. Are you Jewish? You are? Then I won't bother you. Let me ask. Is there any Gentiles? Any Gentiles here at all? They're mostly in the cheaper seats. Are you still having trouble hearing me up there? No, yeah, I don't know. Could you pick out one guy to talk for the crowd? The hell with the show. We could keep spending a night like this. I'll ask them, they'll give me an answer, you'll say yes, you'll say no, everybody will have a discussion. What do you think? It's up to you. I think I heard him, I didn't. This is really terrible because a person pays for a ticket, even if he got in for nothing. We're back to your case. You paid for a ticket? No, you got in for nothing, be honest. You got in for nothing, get out. I got enough customers up there, I don't need them down here too. Who paid to see the show? Nobody? Wait, let me get a real microphone, this is no good. Hello, you got a real microphone back there? I need the stand coming out too. The stand, I need it outside. Hello, is this better? Seriously, is it better? Oh, thank God, thank God. I'm praying that the mic should work already. Everybody. Gentiles only, Gentiles only. Kidei, kidei, kidei letareinu, miklipai seinu amitumo eseinu, kemo shekasuv shekasuv batoiro. This is more fun. You might have come to see jokes, but I came to sing songs. People are shocked. They can't believe I could sing like this because nobody knows that I'm Jewish. I was never even Jewish. They told me the Jews got the money. I figured I'll take a chance. Even now, I'd like to become a Gentile, but it's a major operation. Thank God that's finally a joke you understood. I don't do jokes of that type. I keep the show on a high level. I don't know if you heard about it. I'm the only comedian who doesn't do dirty jokes. I don't talk about sex in shows. Every time you go to see a show, it's sex and sex. There's more important things than sex. And people are sick and tired of hearing about sex. Why don't they talk about music? Don't you think music is more important than sex? I mean, for men in your condition. I always thought that music was more important. I always did. Then I started to notice a strange thing, that if I don't hear a concert for a year and a half, don't bother me. Everybody tells you that all the time. There's more important things than sex. It's a cliche that everybody keeps repeating. Why is sex so important? There's more important things than sex. Ask them what? Well, nourishment is more important. Food is more important. You think food is more important than sex? Did you pass away? I'm talking to you. They'll look at me like they never saw a Jew before. They're staring at me. They think I care if they laugh. I don't care. I don't care. I got enough money to last me the rest of my life. That's right. Unless I want to buy something, then I'm a Jew. The kindness, do you want me to be honest with you? Are you busy? Listen to this. Why don't you sit with them? We'll keep all the tips in one place. In this business, you can't please everybody. Could you please everybody? I'm talking to you. Well, let's be honest. Some people like you, some don't. I did a show in Israel a few months ago. I was a sensation. 2 weeks later in Egypt. The same jokes. I made that up, don't get nervous. And if there are any Palestinians here, I want you to know that I bless you and I wish you the best of everything, but get out of that country. That's not even nice to say. They're entitled to their own country and their own land, and they're entitled to live in peace as long as they don't go around shooting people for nothing. If Israel would be happy to give them back their homeland, Remember when Clinton was fighting with Barack and he had peace conferences? Clinton loved peace conferences. He didn't know why he made the peace conferences. He had someplace to go. He looked busy. He wanted to give away all of Israel. They offered 98% of Israel back to the Arabs, and they almost took it. Barack agreed to give it back to them, the whole 98% of the country. 10 minutes later, suicide bombers started, and they continued for the last 3 years, every single day after we offered them 98% of their country back. That's why I was amazed when the Palestinians offered me a job in Palestine. Did you read about it? They want me to do a show in Palestine. Did you read about it? They offered me $500,000. That's a fact, plus funeral expenses. It was offered to me by Yasser Arafat. You ever hear of Yasser Arafat, the man with the dish towel? This man is not only a terrorist, he's also a thief. I took a close look at the towel. It says Hilton. Did you hear what happened to Yasser Arafat? Did you hear about it? Hello? He was imprisoned in his own compound by Sharon, the Prime Minister of Israel. He was stuck in his own compound. He cut off all the water, couldn't take a shower, a shave, a bath. Couldn't take a bath, a shower, or a shave for 3 months. And he came out looking exactly the same. He picked on Sharon. You can't pick on Sharon. He's the toughest Jew in the world. He fears nobody. The Jews in general in Israel are the toughest in the world. Thank God that nobody depends on the Jews in Canada or in America to defend Israel. You ever see a tough Jew in this country or in the United States? I never saw that. In Israel, the Jews are tough. I saw them. I thought they were Mexicans. Did you ever see a tough Jew in America or here? I never saw a tough Jew. Every Jew I know almost killed somebody. Every Jew will tell you if he said one more word, he would have been dead today. What's that word? Nobody knows. You ever saw a tough Jew? You ever see 4 Italians walking in the street and saying, "Watch out, there's a Jew over there"? You ever see anybody afraid to walk into a Jewish neighborhood because they might get killed by an accountant? I never. But in Israel, the Jews are tough. Why do you think we won the first war where the Jewish general couldn't even see what he was doing? His name was Moshe Dayan. Do you ever hear of Moshe Dayan? The older people probably remember. The young people wouldn't know who I'm talking about. But he was the first Israeli general in the 60s war. What a powerful general. He was the most fearless, most brilliant strategist. Do you remember him with the patch? He spent the whole war with a patch, walking around. Where the hell is the goddamn war? It was a lucky thing the Arabs came from this side. We have the toughest army in the world and the most advanced technology in the world. We have the hydrogen bomb. We've had it for 20 years. Never used it. You know why? It cost $187 billion. You think we're going to throw this away on an Arab? We told you want to see it? Come over. It's $1.25 an hour. Hello, he's taking pictures. You never saw a Jew before? This is it. It's all right. Take your time. Take your time. I must be looking pretty good to this man. Probably a fagel. Fagel is not a derogatory term. It's an expression for a homosexual person. And I'm not insulting a homosexual person. God bless every homosexual person. Get up. You know, now same-sex marriage became popular. Is it popular in this country too? In same-sex marriage. Before, homosexuals were persecuted, rejected, neglected. They were thought of as second-class citizens. They were thought of as abnormal people. Even the psychologists and the psychiatrists, that whole community who supposedly are experts in human behavior, they always used to think of Fegelach as somehow sick or nuts. They needed help, they needed adjustment, they needed rehabilitation, they were abnormal. Turns out now that they realized that whole thing was a mistake. They're just as normal as everybody else. Psychologists now do not say that homosexuals have some kind of a psychological problem. They just happen to have an alternative lifestyle. Instead of being crazy about a young, beautiful girl, they're like an old Jewish man. There's nothing wrong with that. It's an alternative lifestyle. Years ago, they were a persecuted minority. Every time a homosexual was embarrassed, you remember how embarrassed they were? They were always in a closet, out of a closet, looking for a closet. You couldn't find a fegula without a closet. They were always involved. Closets and closets. I thought they were in the furniture business with the closets. But now they're the proudest people now. You ever see how proud they are? As soon as they get together, a parade starts, a parade. I was always on their side. I always felt that there's no excuse to persecute homosexuals and to make them into second-class citizens. In the United States, they were never even allowed in the army. Was that true here, too? Homosexuals are not allowed in the army. Is it true here, too? Here? What? Oh, you don't have an army at all? How did Canadians start fighting in Iraq if they didn't have an army? Weren't they fighting in Iraq originally? Then you didn't go to Iraq. Oh, this was in the other joint. This was in Afghanistan. That's where the tragedy happened. Yeah, that was in Afghanistan. Excuse me. Can't you get your country straight? I said Afghanistan. This man says Iraq. What are you telling me, Iraq? It was in Afghanistan. So how did they fight there if they had no army? Who said they had no army? Which phony bastard is trying to mix me up? Why are you mixing me up, you Nazi bastard? Canada has a great army. France is the one that has no army. They have an army, but they don't fight even for their own country. That was funny how Bush wanted France's help in the war in Iraq, and it was disturbed that France wouldn't vote for the war in Iraq at the UN. Who the fuck needed them? They never fought for their own country. Every time America and England and this country, everybody fought for them in both wars. They never fought for their own country. Who am I talking to? I feel like I'm talking to myself and we're cooking along. The lowest, phoniest cowards in the world are the French. I'm not talking about this war. A lot of people say we should be in the war, we shouldn't be in the war. Maybe we shouldn't be in the war. I'm not saying we should be in the war. Bush had a right reason for going into the war. He knew there was weapons of mass destruction. Where they are is not his business. But he knew that they had them. They don't know where they had them, but someplace they had them, and he knew he had them because we couldn't find them. So they must have had them. If we can't find them, that's the proof that they had them. Because we knew that he hid them. Where did they hide them? This we don't know, but he wouldn't have hid them if he didn't have them. So we know that we hid them. That's why we can't find them. You understand this? And he had good reason to believe it because his intelligence people told it to him. That's why they call them intelligence people. Now they found out that the intelligence people were not in that field. This wasn't their business. They were in a different business, but they called themselves intelligence. And they depended on the intelligence from England, which had no intelligence either. So all the people who forgot to look into it came to a conclusion about what it is, but they had no time to find out if it was true or not. Because the whole thing is not their field. All they know is that we're hanging around here without a war. It's about time we started a war sometime. Now, Bush is a great president. Nobody knows how great he is because he's only involved in one war so far. Wait till he starts the next war. This man, if you say hello to him, he's going to bomb Miami Beach pretty soon. But he had a lot of good plans for America. I shouldn't make fun of it. He had a lot of good plans. He has a national health care program. They said to him, how does it work? He said, this I don't know. But we have a plan. We almost have national health care. We have everything except prescription drugs you still have to pay for, and a doctor you have to pay for. Everything else you get for nothing. See, you people here have a real national health care program. And it works brilliantly, except if you need an operation. You wait 1 week, then you wait a second week. Sometimes in the third week you could get it, unless it takes 4 weeks, sometimes 5 weeks. But if it's an emergency, you could get it right away. The emergency is you have to be dying by Thursday. If you call up, I feel like I'm dying, that's not an emergency. Are you sure that you're dying or you just feel it? I feel it. No good. You have to be sure. If you pass away, we can help you in a second. I don't want to make fun of this country. That's bad taste altogether. You have a great country here with a brilliant prime minister. He doesn't know where the money went, but everything else you know. He was in charge of finance, but not money. He said, just because I was in charge... Just because finance is my field doesn't mean I have something to do with the money. I'm in charge. Where it is, I don't know, because I didn't get a chance to look into it. Why not? Because I was busy. I didn't know that just because it's my department, I have to get involved. Do you understand this? Before that, you had a real great prime minister, Chechen. I love Chechen. How did you pronounce his name? Chechen or Chechen? He couldn't figure out either. You think I pronounced it wrong? He couldn't pronounce his own name. He couldn't talk English. He couldn't talk French. Every time I watched him, I said, what language did this man talk? He made Bush look like a great speaker. Bush can't talk any language. There's no... You ever watch Bush talk? His mouth is always busy, but nothing comes out. Nothing comes out. His hands are working, and he's tough, and he's firm, and he's always getting ready. Nothing comes out. He gets ready again. Every time you see him, he's so does a clap to the hot. His whole body is bouncing and jerking. And what did he say? Not yet. Wait. He's about to talk. He almost talks. Not yet. He's about to talk. I say it's important to remember that we must. There is no reason to. What's that phrase he always uses? For this, he doesn't need a piece of paper. This, he always knows by heart. We'll smoke him out and we'll bring him to justice. This, he knows. You ask him anything. What time is it? We'll smoke him out. We'll bring him. He doesn't even have to know the subject. He just knows that phrase. We'll smoke him out. About what? Whatever it is. Pooh, son of a bitches. And there's no compromises, there's no uncertainty with him. He knows everything definite. What do you want to know? Whatever it is, we're going right in. Where? Wherever it is, son of a bitch. You want a sandwich? Right away. That's it. Nazi bastards. He's just the opposite of your prime minister, not yours. I mean the guy in England, Blair. I go to England a lot. I'm a sensation in England. It so happens that I do the Royal Command performances 7 times. They're crazy about me in England. Before I went there, all the Jews told me I shouldn't go. They won't know what I'm talking about, and if they understand me, they'll get furious. A pogrom will start. They'll start killing Jews in the streets. If they find out a Jew talks like this, they told me, if you're going there, just keep the motor running because you might have to leave in a second. Get on the stage and get right off. Don't say nothing. Just get out. Keep your mouth shut. And as soon as I went there, I became a hit. I was more shocked than everybody else because I was always told I can't perform for English-speaking people. All the Jews always convinced me I'm just for the Jews. Don't talk to the Goyim. They won't understand you. They won't like you. To this day, every time a Jew is sitting next to a Gentile, if the Gentile laughs at me for a second, every Jew says, you know, I was sitting next to a Gentile. He was really laughing. How did he know what you're talking about? I say, schmuck, I'm talking English. You don't notice that? Do you understand this? Jews are so self-conscious that as soon as you sound Jewish, Jews get nauseous, they get nervous. They're always panicky about their Jewishness. They tell you they're proud to be Jewish, but they're so insecure and panicky. They're always trying to lose their identity. I know Jews who actually move into neighborhoods where there's no Jews allowed. That's right. And there's nothing but Jews there. Each one thinks he's the only one. And they'll do anything to look like a Gentile, anything. They'll put on brown shoes, white socks, anything. And they try to talk English perfect. Hello. You have to go to the toilet. They're always panicky about anything Jewish. Jews are always begging me not to talk like this. Why do you have to talk like that? Is it necessary? I don't think it's necessary. Can't you talk like an American person? Why do you talk? You think they tell this to anybody else? You think they tell an Italian not to sound too Italian? The worst anti-Semites left in the world are the Jews. Only the Jews are embarrassed and nauseous whenever they hear anything Jewish. I don't believe they tell anybody from any denomination not to talk like that. Do you think they tell a Puerto Rican, do you have to sound like a Puerto Rican? Is it necessary? They don't tell this to a Puerto Rican. You know why? Because of Puerto Rican, they'll be all out. But me, they pick on me because they figure it's safe. What am I going to do? You pick on any Jew. Every Jew is safe picking on another Jew. Because they know if a Jew gets mad, what is he going to do? Buy a piece of cake, a cup of coffee? Jews have to buy cake and coffee no matter where they go. You ever see a Jew go any place without ordering cake and coffee? Even though you go to the dentist, you have something to eat right now? They always have to have something to eat. Gentiles don't care. They're drunken and man. To Gentiles, everything is an occasion for a drink. Let's go for a walk. First we'll have a drink, don't go for a walk. You want to sit down? Good. We'll have a drink. We'll sit down. We'll get out. My foot hurts. Oh, good. We'll have a drink, another drink. And all the Jews are saying, God, don't you have anything to eat here? The Jews are always eating. They eat like horses, and they all pretend they don't eat, they never eat, they don't know. Did you ever meet one person who gains weight from eating? I never saw that. No matter how fat a person is, they all have the same speech. I don't know what it is with me. I don't eat anything. I don't know what. I look at food, I gain weight. I don't know what it is. As soon as I look, I blow right up. And I never eat. Ask my wife, do I ever eat? He doesn't. He never eat. I never saw. He never eats. I just look. I don't know what the fuck it is with me. I know what it is. It's my metabolism. They all vet metabolism. They don't know what metabolism is, where it is, what it is. Nobody knows. Ask anybody. Where's your metabolism? It's in your body, and whenever you eat, it blows up, and that's it. Where is it? It's wherever it is. That's where it is. The rest have a thyroid problem. It's my thyroid. Where's your thyroid? Right next to the metabolism. It's the thyroid, the metabolism, and the cheesecake. These are the three things they're doing. I have a very slow metabolism. How do they know it's slow? Did they ever reach their metabolism against somebody else's metabolism? How do they know? Do you understand this, mister? The stiffs are always in the front. That's my way. I'm back on the sensation, but I can't see it. I'm not making this up about Jews with food. All you have to do is go on a cruise ship. You ever see go on a cruise ship where everything is already paid for? Then the buffet comes out. Once you see a buffet, people who never ate in their lives, this is already paid for. Now they have to get even with the cruise ship. And the food is later, the Jews who can't even walk, all of a sudden become basketball players. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Come here. Grab this. Come here. Grab this. They're running back and forth. Grab this. Look at all those steaks. I thought you don't eat steak. Once in a while you can have a steak. Look at all those cakes, but you said you shouldn't eat cake. You shouldn't, but on a boat, what do you can't compare it to? A boat. You lose all your weight on a boat. Besides, we'll probably throw up by Thursday. What difference does it make? Jews are always eating all the way on the trip. They watch the Gentiles on a cruise ship. They're playing basketball, handball. They're flying back and forth with schmatters and tchotchkes. They're they're busy, schwitzing all over the place. And all the Jews are saying, do you see a prune Danish around here? Every time the boat docks, every time the boat stops, they all got out. All the Gentiles get out. They go to the huts, the schmatters. They want to look at the museums. They take a picture. There's an elephant, a horse, a cow, a chair, a toy. They take a picture. And all the Jews are saying, good, I'm glad they left. The Viennese table is coming out any minute. The only time a Jew gets off a boat is when they see liquor, duty free. Duty free! The boat ride costs $30,000, but if you could find, they could save 80 cents on 4 bottles of liquor. Man, they start running by the thousands. I'll take 3 more bottles. Give me 8 more bottles. Give me 32 bottles. And we slip bottles and bottles. They keep forgetting that they don't drink. They take all the liquor, they bring it home, it lays in the closet for 40 years. They never take out the liquor unless somebody comes to visit them. Do you want to have a drink? You don't? Thank God. You don't see nothing funny about this whole story, mister? I shouldn't be talking about all this. This is because you shouldn't categorize people. You shouldn't generalize about human behavior. You know who says that? Idiots. You got to be some schmuck to say that people of all denominations behave the same way. That's like rejecting the whole idea that there's any cultural differences anywhere in the world. Why do people study comparative culture? What do we mean by the study of sociology, mister? Let's be honest, the Jews and Gentiles behave the same way. Do you think a Jew and a Gentile is just as likely to buy a Mercedes with the same income? Would a Jew and a Gentile buy a Mercedes? A Gentile with exactly the same income as a Jew will go fishing, will go hunting, will have a house in the mountains where there's nothing but shrubbery, old chairs, to kochen, to hagen, walking around among zebras and cats and horses or shit as a Jew, a Mercedes. And every Jew will say the same thing. You think I wanted a Mercedes? I buy it for the engineering. You ever find anybody who admits that it's a status symbol? What status symbol? I'm not impressed with status symbol. It's the engineering. You believe this? Do you know one Jew that knows a fucking thing about engineering? You know, a Jew can't turn on the radio, but he's an expert in engineering. Oh, it's the engineering, full of shit. The simple fact is a Jew is ashamed to get caught in a cheap car. You catch any Jew with a cheap car, he has all speech prepared. This is not my regular car. I don't know who left it here. This is not my regular. You have to have a Mercedes. It's the engineering because of the way it holds the road. Did you ever see how it holds the road? Boy, they go 4 miles an hour, the way it holds the road. Especially on the turns, you should see how it holds. When you make a turn, no, ya brach, is this a turn? Somebody would think that Chevrolets are turning over all over the country. You ever stand on the corner and say, watch out, there's a Chevrolet coming. Nobody ever admits that they buy anything because it's a status symbol. But almost everything everybody buys is a status symbol. Why do people buy a bigger house than somebody else? And why do you keep racing to get a bigger and bigger house? Do you need more rooms? Are you more comfortable in all those rooms? 2 people live with 37 rooms. They spend their whole life looking for each other. Where are you? Do they really need that many rooms? What for? What is the purpose? Why does a person with 7 rooms get jealous and nauseous if he finds out you got 9 rooms? And you get jealous if somebody has 12 rooms and people are always talking, you want a big house he has? So what? What does he get out of it? Nobody cares. But if you could see a big house, you get nauseous. Look what a big house. You know what that proves? That people are sick and stupid. And I say this with the highest respect. You sleep in one bed. How many rooms do you need? Don't you sleep in one bed? You ever get up in the middle of the night and try another bed? You ever get up 4 o'clock in the morning and say, well, I slept here long enough. Let me try this. Does this make any sense? People are also building toilets. It's a whole contest with who has more toilets than who. If somebody has, you have 3 toilets, I heard he has 4 toilets. He's got 5 toilets. Some people are so desperate to build toilets, they forget to build a house. Just toilets. Just toilets, and they can't get over how many toilets they have. This is my small toilet, but I have a bigger toilet, and this leads to another toilet. And behind the toilet, I got toilets like you never saw before. Wait till you see my new toilet. I think I got a toilet. You need that many toilets, you don't need a house, you need a urologist. Everybody's involved with these idiot status symbols. Like the biggest sickos are the ones who own boats. Once you show me a guy with a boat, I'll show you a real fucking jerk-off every time. There's no bigger fucking putz than a Jew with a boat or anybody with a boat. Because their whole life becomes the boat. Every time you say hello to them, you should see my boat. You're dealing with a fucking maniac every time. What a boat. You're a fucking putz and that's it. Fuck you with your boat, you schmuck. My boat. You can tell them your whole family passed away. No kidding. But first, let me show you my boat. Let me show you my boat. Is this a boat? And when you come on the boat, you think it's a palace. It's a direct little shit house. You ever see such a big boat? Never. I never saw such a... Boy, is this a boat? I looked him in the eye. I never saw such a boat. Look, you can almost turn around here. Boy, is this a boat. Wait, this is nothing. Let me show you my bedroom. Let me see the bedroom. Let me see the bedroom. Mr. Goyim. It's like the people who want to go to fancy restaurants. They have to be seen in the fanciest restaurants. There's no food on the table, and they can't get over themselves. We can't wait to go to a French restaurant. You should see the elegance of a French restaurant. No food on the plate. They don't care. You see fancy waiters and tchotchkes and some schmatters are walking back and forth. Where's the food? This we don't know. You don't serve you for a month and you can't get over the ambience. Look at the ambience. Schmuck, you came for food. This they don't know. Who cares? There's ambience. They don't save them for an hour or another hour. They sit there afraid to say a word. Look where we are. We're in such a restaurant. What an ambience. How do people turn into such idiots? I'll never figure this out. Go into any simple coffee shop or luncheonette. If they don't serve you in a minute, you blow your top. You say, what the fuck is this son of a bitch? I waited for 3 minutes already. Where's the waitress? There was supposed to be a waiter. A waitress. I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'm going to sue those bastard son of a bitches. Then they go into a French restaurant. And they don't care that there's no food on the plate. They don't care. Because they call it nouvelle cuisine. You know what that means? No food. They sit in these dim lights. Why do you think there's no lights? Why? There's no food. I bought a steak at a French restaurant. I couldn't find it. It was under a mushroom. That's it. Going to a Jewish delicatessen, you get a sandwich this high, $6. That much food in a French restaurant would be $9,740. But it's French, it's French. They're the lowest son of a bitches in the world, the French. There's nobody lower than the French. You look French to me. Son of a bitches. People love to pay 10 times as much for anything that's French. People, because they represent class or style. I don't know what they represent to people. Here they are, the lowest bastards in the world. It's like what I said before with Bush with the war, how he wanted. They only won one war. That was the French Revolution, because they were fighting each other. Did you hear about the French Navy? It's the only navy in the world with glass-bottom ships. You know why they have glass bottoms? So they could see their Air Force. I know, I'm telling you, they're such obnoxious bastards. You see, the French people in Montreal, I love. They're warm, sweet, gentle people. They're the sweetest people they are to each other. To you, we cook to you. You ever go to Montreal? I love the way the French people are busy. They're friendly if they know you're French. As soon as a Jew comes in, you can't even get a coffee in Tim Hortons if you don't talk French. Go into Tim Hortons and order a cup of coffee in English. Right away they start talking to each other. And 300 French people getting coffees one after the other. You're still standing. You're still. They keep looking at it. You know what that means? Fuck that son of a bitch. And when they get you a coffee, they take it from the back, some stale coffee, and they give it to you and watch you choke and get nauseous for an hour. Order a donut. At Tim Hortons, if there's a French kid behind the counter, then he walks away and you'll never live to see him again. And if they bring you a donut, they'll find you a stale donut that they just took from the other shit house. Here it is. And pass away, you son of a bitch. Where the Frenchman orders a donut, 300 boxes of donuts come flying. And Frenchmen are having a whole party, and the Americans are still standing and schluffing. Not that they're bad people. They're very nice people. But if you're an American, stay the hell out of there. I don't mean to make fun of it. They want their rights, and one of the rights that they want is the right to abuse everybody who's not French. Because the Americans, the Canadians want to make every concession to them, give them every equality, every opportunity, everything that they want. They want to give them every work, every job, everything there is. Nobody's trying to deny them decency and rights. Now that they have all the rights, they're like the people who fight for human rights at every place else. They always overdo it. Everybody who has a crusade overdoes it because they were persecuted before, rejected before, they suffered before. Now they overdo it to get even with you. Everybody, it's like all the yentas. Women never had equal rights. They never did have equal rights. But now they have nothing but hate. You ever see the women's lib movement? Vicious yentas are running around. And they're claiming sexual harassment wherever they go. You say hello, sexual harassment. You could be 102, you're passing away, mistake does it, they caught you. Every place you go, it's sexual harassment. You're minding your own business. You happen to look, you didn't just look, you were leering. They have interpretations for everything you do. If you walked, you were stalking. If you turned, you were frocking, clocking, hawking, backing, clacking, hacking. And every time a man sees a woman, hello, did I do something wrong yet? I don't know. Everybody is nervous. You ever see what happens with men in the workplace? They're afraid to talk to a woman. They're afraid to look in her direction. And you can't fire a woman from any job. You try to fire a woman, sexual harassment. That's right. You're allowed to hire her, but you can't fire her. And you don't care if she could do her work or not. You can't mention it. You can't talk about it. You're not even allowed to mention work. Work, sexual harassment. That's right. You're not allowed to talk about it. You're allowed to say, listen, people work here. It's up to you. It's the same thing with black people. You can't fire a black person because they always suffered in the past, and they did. So now you have to be very careful how you hire them. You can't fire them. You have to let them do it. You can't fire a homosexual. They will persecute it. If you hire a homosexual who happens to be a black female, you're out of business in an hour and a half. The only person you can fire today is a tall, white, Protestant American Gentile. As soon as he shows up, you're fired. That's it. It's the same thing with fat people. Fat people were always persecuted before, so you can't fire a fat person now. I don't know if it's true in this country, but in the United States, they made a constitutional issue out of it. And they should, because there's no excuse not to be able to hire a person, or a man should have to never have a job and pass away from human misery just because he happens to be fat. The fat people made a big issue out of it. American Airlines, you remember that? You people ever hear about the American Airlines case? They tried to fire a stewardess for being overweight, and they lost the case on constitutional grounds. That no matter how fat she is, it's only a chazasha business. The fattest people in the world today are working at American Airlines. And now they could get a job whether anybody likes it or not. It's about time they were able to get jobs, because for years, fat people were starving to death. So they made a constitutional issue out of it. Now the fattest people are working on American Airlines. You go onto any American airline plane, you ever see the stewardess? Shake the head. Come in. I was on that plane. The whole plane was flying like this. I know one stewardess was so fat on American Airlines that she couldn't get into the aisle with the tray of food. Did you hear about this case? She couldn't get into the aisle with the tray of food. She was stuck. Couldn't move. And all the Jews on the plane were going, They couldn't figure out what to do, so you know what they did? They made it a buffet. People think I'm making this up. Everything I'm telling you is the truth. But let me get back to the French. I'm not finished with them yet. Why is it? Here's a good question. Why is it that a French wine is 10 times more expensive than any other wine? California wines, by the wine connoisseurs, are considered the best wines in the world today. It wasn't true 30 years ago, but it's true today. But to this day, right now, you pay 50 times as much for a French wine as a California wine. The best California wine that all the connoisseurs will say is the best. How much? 80 cents. French wine is $3,000, $9,000, $40,000. You know why? Because everybody wants to go into a French restaurant. You're considered sexier. If you want to take a girl to a restaurant and drink wine, what are you going to take her to? Jewish delicatessen and drink Manischewitz? You have to take her to a French restaurant, and you have the French stock, and you start drinking the wine, and you wait for the guy with the tchotchkes around the neck to come over to you. What do you call him? The kabasa, kabase, chalarier, whatever. He comes over with his tchotchkes, le redreux, le jaune, le dreux, le bleu. And he's offering you the wine. You say, let me taste. Le dreux. And all of a sudden, every Jew becomes a wine connoisseur. Let me taste. He doesn't know what the fuck he's tasting. They don't know the difference between a mouthwash and a wine, and they taste it. They're tasting and tasting for an hour and a half, and they always say the same thing. Perfect! He says, that was the water. You want to try the wine now? Son of a bitches. But it's a status symbol. Anything that's a status symbol make people buy it, and they'll make them a fool out of themselves to own it. It's like even today with the cell phones. The cell phones became a status symbol. Everybody wants to buy the latest cell phone. Look at the cell phone I got compared to one you got. Even a cell phone became an idiot status symbol. The biggest contest now is who has the smallest phone. As soon as somebody takes out a cell phone, you hear one schmuck always pop up. Such a big phone. I can't believe you're walking around with such a big... People are ashamed of it. They have a big phone. They go, they're afraid to take out the phone. It's not my regular phone. This is my sister's phone. And then they have to have features that nobody ever used. Every phone, because you have a certain feature, I have to have more features. Who the fuck uses these features? Nobody. I could get baseball games. You should see what I get on my cell phone. Stock options and stock quotations. And I get horse races. And I get music. And I get dancing. And I get flying. I get everything. I get schedules of everything in the world. You ever use it? Not yet. And they'll all tell you, isn't this fantastic? No matter what you want to know, it's in the phone. Like what? What? Take a look, whatever it is. Whatever it is, but this is the best of anything you want to know. When did you use it? I'm trying to use it. I'm getting to it. When my sister-in-law comes over, she'll show me what it is. But when I get to use it, this is going to be fantastic. How long you got it? 9 years? But I've never used it. The cell phone became a status symbol. Everybody who takes out their phone tells you the deal they got. Did you find one person who ever takes out a cell phone that doesn't tell you about his deal? What a deal I got. You would think there's $9 million involved in it. It's an $11 deal. But you should see this deal. The first 2 calls I get for nothing. The second 2 I pay half. The third I pay nothing. Mondays I pay. Tuesdays I pay nothing. Wednesdays I pay a little. If I walk, I pay. I sit down, I don't pay. I get up, I pay. My sister calls, I pay. My mother, I pay nothing. I go. When I travel, I pay. When I get there, I don't pay. I this, I pay. I almost pay. When I turn around, I pay half. When I sit down, I get up. I get up. I get down. Well, no matter what deal you got, the other guy always tells you, you call that a deal? Bullshit. I got a much better deal. I get 712 calls for nothing only on Thursday morning. Saturday, I get half. Sunday night, I pay a little. And all weekend, I pay only $6 till Monday. Monday afternoon, I pay till 4:30. 5 o'clock, I pay. 7 o'clock, I pay. And everybody you see has to show off to you that he could hear things on his phone that you can't hear on any other phone. A phone became a contest, this cockamamie little thing. You think you got a phone? My phone is digital. Not only is it digital, it's post-digital. I hear things that didn't even happen yet on this phone. Nobody ever heard of a phone like this. What a phone, no matter what goes on, I hear. Could I borrow your phone? Yeah. Hello? Nothing. Every time you borrow that phone, you hear nothing, and they have a whole speech prepared. You see, that this is a very bad neighborhood. There's too much water in this section, and there's too many mountains in this area, and there's too many toilets on this floor. And you're too close to a window, and you're somebody's making a salad. His salad's... You have to move out, get closer to the window, and get under a table and get over a chair. And every time I meet a Jew, he's walking around with a phone wondering, could I sit here? I think I can. If you go further under and between, go into any restaurant, there's always a guy under a table. Hello? I'm making a call. You know where you find these phones work best? Every time they work best, right next to a payphone. That's where it works. But it's a status symbol to people to hear it ringing. Every time people feel important if it rings. There's 300 millionaires in a restaurant. You ever notice when one phone rings, how desperate everybody gets? They hear a sound, I think it's mine. They start banging each other around. Hello, do you hear what? Is it mine? I think it's mine. Is it yours? Whose is it? They start attacking their wife. Get the phone out! Then they find out somebody else got the call. Pooh,
son of a bitch. And the guy that got the call walks around like he just won a lottery. Ha ha. All right, let's not make fun of anybody. What do you think? I'm a little too sexy for this business. This is my problem. When you look too good, it's hard to be a comedian. All these people are getting jealous. It's killing them that I look so perfect. That's right. Sex appeal comes from a sense of humor. If you have a good sense of humor, women can't control themselves. Have women ever told you this? Every woman, sooner or later, tells this to a man. I'm not impressed with sex, with bodies, with great looks, beautiful faces. It's shallow, it's meaningless to me. I care for a person who has a heart. You know how you can tell a man with a real heart, a man with a sense of humor? To me, the sexiest thing, there's nothing sexier than a sense of humor. You know what that is? Bullshit. If a sense of humor is more important than anything else, how come Brad Pitt never lost a girl to Rodney Dangerfield? Could you explain this to me? Do you think George Clooney is nervous that Danny DeVito might show up? What do you think? You think 4 o'clock in the morning what a girl is looking for is a good laugh? I don't believe that. I never heard a girl holler at 4 o'clock in the morning, one more joke, one more joke. I got news for you. If you take your clothes off and she starts laughing, you're finished. Women love to give this Bubbermeister to men because they want to pretend that sex doesn't interest them. Men are like animals. That's all they want. That's all they think of. Every time a girl is with a guy, that's all she's worried about. He talks so much about sex. He's so pushy. I can't stand these animalistic things with men. They have no concern, compassion. A woman needs a rapport, an involvement, a meaning, a depth, an emotion, a relationship. They have to know that it's something to show the heart. And she keeps abusing him every time he mentions sex. And the amazing thing, when it finally happens, she has a better time than you. Every time it actually happens, the girl is screaming, and the guy is she's trying to her, it's a whole party, and he's wondering, am I going to last through this? I'll club it. Oh, yeah. Wait. Oh, yeah, Bruch, how long is this going to go on here? Oh, yeah, Bruch, he's falling. Let's go. Oh, yeah, don't stop. I'm not stopping. You ever see what happens when the sex is over? It's always the same thing happens. He's knocked out, and she's first getting started. What are we... Come on, I thought you was a healthy person. What happened here? I want you too. Does it have to be right now? What's the hurry? How about a month from now? What's the hurry? Come on. She's trying to get sex started. He's trying to get his heart started. Let's go any place. I'd love to get the fuck out of here. This is the great truth of this. This is about the hypocrisy in women. Women are total hypocrites on this whole subject. That's why when you take out a girl, she's always pretending she never heard of sex, she don't want it, she don't need it, she's not the type of person. This is a fraud perpetrated by their training. You're trained to think that if you fool around, you're a dirty person. So you have to pretend you don't want it, and you don't even want to hear about it before you do it. That's why if a guy wants to have sex with a girl, he has to pretend he never heard of it, he don't want it, he don't need it. The whole trick is to figure out how to get there without talking so she could do it without hearing. Because if she hears where she's going, she'll never go. No girl. She has to pretend she don't know what happened, where it happened, how it happened. She was never there. No girl ever expected it. All of a sudden, there was a Jew on top of me. I don't know how it happened. I heard a guy. He was breathing. I thought it's a heart condition. I had no idea. I don't want to go into this because this is a subject for another show. I don't want to talk about sex here. We're trying to keep it on a high level. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having an intermission now. This is too good a show to go straight through. Besides, right now the Jews are a little hungry. I know all the Jews here are wondering now, how long is this going to take? I didn't eat nothing today. What did I eat today? Every Jew says the same. I don't need a lot. I need something to tide me over. What did I have today? A piece of chicken? It was a whole chicken, but it came in one piece. That's why we're going to have a definite intermission. We've got to leave everybody a chance to figure out what's going on here. And besides, they have to get together to express their opinions. Watching a show is an event for a Gentile. To a Jew, the intermission is the main big hit. So that they could get together now and hear, what's your honest opinion of this man? Not for me, I'll be honest with you, he's not for me. He's got a big mouth, I don't know if I like this type of thing. You think you'll go back in? Why not? It's a place to sit. Where are you going to go? I'll see you in a few minutes. So, what's on your mind now? Well, it's a nice place to hang around for another while. You are a remarkably fascinating audience to me. I can't get over how you are intelligent enough to understand what I'm doing here. This is not an easy business. In this business, you know, you don't know if people are going to like you or not. I don't care how many years you're in this business. You're still somewhat tense or nervous before you go out to any show, to any crowd, especially when they look like this. This is not... I'm kidding you. You happen to look great. Passable, I would say the best I could say. What is the best clothes you got? Gentiles don't care what they look like. You notice that? They don't care. They notice their country, they don't have to impress you. A Jew dresses up even to take out the garbage. Not that I'm making fun. I don't make fun of Gentiles, Jews, or anybody else. Different people, different denominations have different characteristics. And you should respect every person you meet. You should respect on the highest level. I hope you didn't mind I was kidding before about denominations or homosexuals, and all this is in the spirit of fun. What I told you, you know that in the United States right now, homosexuals are more respected than ever before. Hello? A guy like you could be a big hit in the United States right now. That's right, because people realize, you know, in this country, same-sex marriage, I was starting to talk about it before, same-sex marriage in this country is already accepted, right? It's legalized. In the United States, in Massachusetts, it's almost legal. Around Massachusetts, they're mad. Outside of Massachusetts, a little mad. Homosexuals are about to get married, but they're not sure. Maybe in this state, if you cross the line, you could. I'll cross back. And now they're all in conversations with each other. If we go to Pittsburgh, we could, but if we cross the line, we can't. So it's almost, the Democrats want to say they're in favor of same-sex marriage, but they're afraid the majority of the polls show that the majority opinion in America is still against same-sex marriage. So they don't want to lose the homosexual vote, while at the same time they want to please the other side. So the Democrats now are on both sides of this issue. They're against it, but not by much. They feel it's the wrong thing unless you're not busy, and if you have time, maybe if you did it, we're not against it, but we're not for it. And we think if you're better off without it, unless the guy appeals to you, that's another story. And Bush says he's definitely against it, but he doesn't want to be against it too loud either, because there's a lot of fake. He's likely against it. A little more for him than then. He wants a constitutional amendment, but thank God it didn't pass. So I wanted it. I couldn't help it. Nothing happened with it. Thank God I'm still okay. So he's also afraid to offend the homosexuals. Why everybody's afraid of them, I don't know. You can be afraid of the blacks because they might start a riot. What are you afraid of with the homosexuals? What is the worst thing they're going to do? Paint your house pink? Not that I'm against same-sex marriage. I think you have to be an idiot to be against same-sex marriage. These two people are making love to each other. How does that affect you? People say, oh, in the United States they keep saying. But let's be honest about it. They are violating the tradition of marriage. The tradition of marriage is holy, and we have to maintain it. We can't violate it because it will undermine the traditional marriage of one man and one woman. How does it undermine it? How? Huh? How? These two fegalach are making love to each other. They're in their own house. They're not coming to your house. They're not undermining your marriage unless you're not sure that you really want your wife. Maybe you're thinking one of those guys. If you're sure that you want your wife, what's your chazasha business, what he's doing with that guy? If he came into your house and he said, oh, she's out now. I'm here. I'm here now. Forget about her, you know. He's not pushing your wife out, so it's not your business what they're doing in their house. If a guy was in love with a turkey, let's assume he married a turkey. Would you say it undermines the tradition of marriage because before no women were married to turkeys? We have to find out how this undermines marriage. It doesn't undermine marriage unless you are also going to go with a turkey. If you're not thinking, if that turkey doesn't appeal to you, it's no threat to your marriage. Does the turkey appeal to you or not? That's the only question. Otherwise, it's none of your fucking business. That's right. Take a look at the turkey. Does the turkey look happy? Then mind your own business. If the turkey looks then you should look into it. What do we mean by democracy? Look who I picked out there. What do we mean by democracy? That anything anybody else does, it doesn't interfere with you, is none of your business. And everybody should practice freely whatever they please. That's what they mean by a democracy. If it doesn't threaten you in any way, what's your business? Gentiles always went to church on a Sunday. Jews came along and decided to go to shul, to a how do you say it by the goyim? A synagogue. They decided to go to a synagogue on a Saturday. Now, if you're a bigot, it bothers you. If you're a normal person, what do you care? If he's transferring that yeshiva, that Hebrew school, into your church and he's interfering with your services, you have a right to complain. But if he's doing it in his own building, what's your fucking business? If you came to the midnight mass and all of a sudden it's a bar mitzvah, then you have a right. Then it should bother you. But otherwise, it doesn't bother you if you're a normal person. When the priest is a midnight mass, when he's giving out the cracker and he's putting it in your mouth, you say, and you're happy. Now, if all of a sudden a Jew sneaked in and it's a pastrami sandwich. As long as they don't sneak in a pastrami sandwich, it's none of your business. You understand this? If I like fish and the other guy likes a banana, he likes a banana, Fegelach love a banana, you like fish. And this is their pleasure as a banana. As long as he's not putting the banana in your mouth, it's none of your business. That came out a little too obvious. Do you understand this? Mister? I was disturbed about the Mormons, too. They made the whole business of the Mormons totally illegal, that polygamy is illegal. Why should that be illegal? One man wants to be married to 14 women. How is it your business? That's consensual arrangement among people that makes them happy. It makes these 14 women happy to be married to one man. Why should it be illegal? Why? I don't know. I'm going to stay here until we figure this out. Why should it be? This is what the 14 women want. They're all in love with this one man. And they made a religion out of it. They call it Mormons. It was probably a bunch of Jewish women. There's a group of women who don't want to have sex every day. Once in 14 days is enough for them. This is the Jews invented this. They called themselves Mormons. They just wanted more time for shopping, and that's it. They figure if you're 1 out of 14, by the time he gets to you, he'll go such a krachen to have. He'll thank God you turned him down, and you go shopping again, and that's it. Do you understand this? Why anybody would want 14 women, I don't know. It means you also have 14 mother-in-laws. Who wants this? Do you understand this, mister? This whole thing doesn't make a bit of sense. It's like President Bush said, and I don't want to keep referring to him because a lot of people I know are not too crazy about President Bush in this country. I know in this country they love Clinton. They love a thief, a liar, a degenerate. They love it. I'm not saying Bush is a great president. He might not be the greatest president. It's hard to tell you. I think he's one of the greatest presidents. He just can't explain it to you. But he proved America is the greatest democracy in the world. Whoever knew that you don't have to talk English to become the president of the United States? Nobody knew that. This is a first in America. And the main thing is he's fighting terrorism better than ever. Everybody who makes fun of him never mentions the fact that he's the greatest anti-terrorist fighter of all time. Nobody fights terrorism better than him. Every day, his administration is ready to fight terrorism. Every day, almost every weekend, you hear an announcement either from him or Cheney or the other guy, Rumsfeld or Powell. Every weekend, they all keep announcing every weekend that you should be on the alert because this is the weekend we might all get wiped out. This is it. There's not one weekend that's not more dangerous than the previous weekend. This is the weekend of all the weekends. Anything can happen now. The Al-Qaeda is here. We don't know where, but they're around, and we don't know how they got in, but we don't know. We do know they're going to do something. We don't know what, but they're about to do it. Watch out, they're coming. We don't know from where. Oh, yeah, blah. And they always tell you the next sentence, but please don't get nervous. Be comfortable. Who knows, you might not get killed. It's not definite. And above everything, they keep reminding you, go to restaurants. At least you'll have one good meal before you go. Meanwhile, Cheney's at a bunker, Rumsfeld is at a bunker, Bush, they're all in bunkers 400 miles down. But you, go ahead. Take chances. They keep reminding you, as long as you're alert, nothing can happen to you. Be alert. Every week you hear the same thing. If you are alert, you know what this is? Bullshit. What does a light got to do with it? Let me ask you a question. If a bomb hit you right in the mouth, is it going to help you that you was alert? Well, you ever hear a guy say, a bomb hit me right here, but thank God I was so alert. I was so alert, they keep reminding you to be alert by giving you this announcement with a color system. Do they have a color system here too? Here you're not so fearful of these things because these terrorists probably never heard of this country. This is one time you got to thank God that you're not too well known. I'm kidding you. This is the greatest country probably in the world. I say this wherever I go. Well, you got qualities here they don't have any place else. What it is, nobody knows. But everybody tells you, my God, look at what a fantastic city Toronto is. You could go wherever you want. You could, after the show, you could go wherever you please. It's closed, but you could go. By 9:30, everything is closed. Go any place after 10 o'clock, we're closed. We're about to close. We're almost closed. We're trying to close. Every time you touch a door to a restaurant, there's a Mexican with a broom. Señora Carrara, Carrera, Carrara. It's not nice to say a Mexican with a broom. Sometimes it's a Jew with a broom. But he's handing it to a Mexican. Well, what I want to talk to you about is this color system. They don't have a color or light system here in the United States. I'm not making fun of it. They have to improvise new ways to deal with a situation that never happened before. So it's not an easy predicament to define or to discern or to how do you prepare for something you've never done? So they created a color system. You hear about the color system? One day it's green, yellow. You could always tell how dangerous it is in accordance to the color that they announced. Like if it's green. If it's green, you're exceptionally safe. You got nothing to worry about. You could go a whole block, take a look, see what's going on. Take one block at a time. Then go another block, take a look. You could go one block at a time. It might take you a long time to get someplace, but at least you'll be safe. Go to the corner and take a look. Nobody here? If it's yellow, take one step, go back. Don't go too far. One step at a time. Take a look, go back. If it's orange, keep turning. Keep turning. And if it's red, you just stand there, wait to pass away, and that's it. And if you're colorblind, you'll never live to leave the house for the rest of your life. Meanwhile, Rumsfeld keeps announcing every week, this is the most dangerous terrorist of the week. Every week he shows the Americans a picture of the most dangerous terrorist in the world. Take a look at this picture, study it. Then he tells you that you should go looking for him. This guy killed 140,000 people, but when you see him, say, hello, you're coming with me. Ay, Rebbeinu Shalom. I'm not making fun of it. Look, we do have a lot of great security systems, especially at the airports. You ever go fly in America? You ever see the airports in the United States? Perfectly safe now. It's amazing how safe they are. As soon as you come into an American airport, a yenta is standing behind the counter and she said to you, "Did anybody handle your luggage?" Well, let me ask you a question. If the guy's a terrorist, what is he going to say? "Yeah, how do you like that?" Sure, he's handling my luggage right now. You want to meet him? Come here. His name is Muhammad. I want to introduce him to you. And who do they have by the conveyor belts? You ever see who they have by the conveyor belts? In all the American airports, you would think they have 48-year-old anti-terrorist geniuses. They have 15-year-old kids from Honduras. They're standing and they're dancing. Yere caranta, yere cantior, yere cant, yere din, yere. What do you got there? A bomb on the conveyor, on the conveyor. All the bombs on the conveyor. Yere caranta, yere cantior, yere carere din, yere cantior. You know, anti-terrorist geniuses have been studying this. Newspaper people have been studying these conveyor belts, and they found out it's the biggest piece of fakery in the world because, let's be honest about it, real bombs are not made. They're not made out of metal. Did you know that? Why do you think they keep finding tweezers and keys? Because bombs are not made out of metal. They'll never find a bomb unless it's attached to a key. They keep finding tweezers and keys. Every time you go to the airport, the yentas hollering, "They took my tweezers, they took my tweezers, they took my tweezers." The only people who have tweezers now are the Puerto Rican girls who work at the airport. They're full of tweezed eyebrows. They got perfectly tweezed. And all the Jewish women are so hairy now that... And they're all worried about racially profiling anybody. The greatest fear workers have at the airport is racially profiling anybody, because that's the big issue in the United States, the civil rights issue about racially profiling people. So if a guy looks exactly like a terrorist, they should, "Shh, leave him alone." But if they see a 90-year-old Jewish little lady comes in, 12 Indians start surrounding her and they start pushing her around. "Stand here." And they start pulling her apart. "Take off your jacket." I'm trying my best. Pick up pick up your shoe. Put out your foot. And they pull up your arm. Take off your shoes. It took her a week and a half to put them on. This is the higher light that they're accomplishing. Not that they're accomplishing very little. They're accomplishing a lot, and they're getting further and further and winning better and better this war in Iraq. We're winning so much better than before that it's unbelievable. Except for the fact that the war probably never end. Otherwise, it's the most fantastic, unbelievable thing. Bush announced the end of the war a year ago. He went on the ship and he said, "Hello, the war is over." The next day, they started killing people by the thousands. He said, "What happened?" He said, "I announced that it's over. The fact that they don't know, not my business." Everybody asks them the same question. How come we don't invade North Korea? North Korea, too late. They got the bomb already. We can't do it. If you're looking for the bomb, we have to wipe you out. But if you got it already, it's too late. So now they can do whatever they want. It's not my business. It's like somebody is looking for your wife, you should kill him. But if he's already making love to her, what do you want from me? Meanwhile, Kerry is more mixed up than him. Kerry voted for the war. In the United States Senate, there was a bill giving the United States the right, the president the right, to start the war whenever he pleases. It was an unconditional bill. There was no qualifications to that bill. It literally gave Bush the right to start the war whenever he wants. And he was privy to the same intelligence that Bush had. He didn't have to vote for it, but he did. He voted for this war. So what do you think Bush did? He fooled everybody. He started the war. Then Kerry said, "Where the fuck are you going? Just because I voted for it, you have to start a war? Who the hell thought you would start a war just because we voted for it? Who knew I was voting? I thought it's a bar mitzvah. I had no idea. Son of a bitches. Nobody told me it's this war. I knew a war, but how would I know it? This son of a bitch." He didn't know anything about it. Now he says, once we're there, the least we could do is stay there. Everybody thinks Kerry is against the war and Bush is for it. He's in favor of staying there because he says, once we're here already, it's not nice to leave. But we shouldn't be there. That's besides the point. But we're here already. Now it's embarrassing to walk out. But people keep getting killed. That's not my business. It's too late to leave. It's like you're punching somebody in the mouth. You got the wrong guy. But I started already. How can I stop now? Do you understand this? Bush is making a lot of progress. Look how close he is to finding bin Laden. Every day we're getting closer and closer to finding bin Laden, except for the fact that we don't know where the hell he is. But every day you hear an announcement in the United States, we're getting so much closer because we have a very close idea where he is. And we found out lately something we never knew before. He's either in Afghanistan or he left Afghanistan. And from there he went. We don't know exactly where, but he definitely went because he kept moving. That we know for sure. And he's on a continent. We don't know which continent, but on one of the continents he definitely is. And we know that he took a train. Might have been a plane, maybe a horse. He took something and he went somewhere and he didn't stop, and we know that. And we know that we're going to find him. We can tell we're going to find him because we haven't found him yet. That means he knows that we're looking for him. That's how we know we're going to find him. Right now we know he's in disguise. He might be a chef in Pittsburgh. He might be a rabbi in Philadelphia. We don't know exactly. But we don't know he's someplace. We do know he's sick. We found out that he's sick. We don't know how sick, but we know he can't walk. Maybe he could walk, but he can't dance. He cannot dance. We know for sure that he can't dance. And we heard lately that he's disguised as a woman. So if you see a tall woman with a beard, that's him. Write that down. That's how close we're getting. Do you understand this? Not that I want to talk politics. Meanwhile, Clinton made the most outstanding speech. Did you hear about his speech a couple of days ago? The convention. People can get over how brilliant the speech is. He was one of the great speakers. One of the great speakers of all time is Clinton. Brilliant speaker. Because he has a lot to account for. So he just wrote a book. The book was the biggest hit. He told you all the lies he told you for nothing. But this time it cost $48 to buy it. You could read it in a paper for nothing for 8 years. Mitten erin, $48.50. And he got $12 million to write everything he denied he ever did before. Throughout his presidency, he said, this I never did, this I never heard, this I don't know what you're talking about, this is all bullshit, it's all Bubbermeisters, they're making it up, I don't know what, I had nothing to do with any of this. Then they said, but we could give you $12 million to write a book. No kidding, I remember everything. The hottest candidate for president next time is going to be Hillary. Do you know that? Hillary is going to be everybody agrees, is going to be the hottest candidate because she accomplished something. Nobody knows what it is. But nobody cares. All they know is she was married to him close enough. She's been a senator now for 3 years. Nobody knows what she's doing there. She don't know either. All she knows is she shows up on time, close enough. And everybody says she's great. Why? We don't know. All they know is that she was indicted once. She was almost indicted a second time. And she stood out of jail. She should be president. And she should be president even though nobody knows what qualifications she has for the job. But this is true about the presidency in every country. The presidency of the United States is no different than most countries. The politics is the only field in which you don't have to qualify on any level. All you have to do is be 35 and alive in the United States. If you could prove you're still living, you can be president. There's no qualifications. You don't have to prove you graduated high school, public school, nothing. You could go straight from a sanitarium to the presidency. This is the only field in the world. Isn't it ironic that for the best, the highest, most responsible, most complicated job on this earth is the only job you could think of for which you need no qualifications? You can't even be a plumber. You can't work in a toilet without qualifications. You can't be a doorman without graduating high school. In the United States, you cannot be a doorman without graduating high school. Now, what are they afraid of? You'll miss the door. Could you picture a guy standing there? Where's the door? I can't figure this out. You can't even be a barber without graduating high school and without having a test. You have to pass a state test to be a barber. In America, they protect you from a bad haircut. But if they fail the test, they ask you, you failed this, but you want to be a president? It's up to you. You can be a plumber without passing a test. Now, why do you think the plumbing in America is working perfectly, but the government is full of... You understand that? Not that I want to criticize, it's not my nature. But the truth is that Hillary Clinton would never qualify for any other job. I don't care if you like her politics or not. She would qualify for no other job but the presidency of the United States. Why? Because her husband was president. Because this work in private industry. Who am I talking to? Who this work? Imagine if the head of General Motors quit the job. You think the first thing they would say is, "Where's his wife? We have to..." Is that the first thing they would say? Do you understand this? Son of a bitches. Hello, he's still taking pictures. He cannot believe that I'm in here. I'm still living. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is too good a show to continue. I'd like to ask for an extra few dollars from each person. This is not a show. This is the United Jewish Appeal. I'm enjoying myself. Where do you find a building like this with lights all over and trees and shrubbery? You're watching me, I'm watching the building. I can't get over this. I travel the whole world. You hardly ever see a building with shrubbery right in front of you. Isn't this amazing? You could lay down for an hour, you get up, when you think you're in a park, and you're happy. Looks like the stars are shining here. That's another thing Bush wants to do, is go to Mars. This is the 5th president already that keeps wanting to go into outer space. Every president who can't accomplish nothing here wants to go in outer space. He wants to go to outer space. America wants to be first in space. This is a sick idiocy about being first in space. What the fuck is so important about being first in a place where there's nothing there in the first place? Somebody told you, "I know of a place where there's absolutely nothing." Would you say, "Good, I have to be first"? Because America is obsessed with our power, our technology. We are first everywhere. So even when there's nothing to go to, and there's nothing exists there, we have to prove nobody else went there. We're going to be first, because if we don't go there, somebody might go there first, and we'll be second. Is this your greatest fear, that you'll be second to go where there's nothing there? Somebody said to you, "Let's go to Pittsburgh." What's over there? Nothing. Watch out. Hurry. Hurry up. Who the hell would want to go there? They took pictures. Did you read about it? The New York Times had a story how they took pictures in Mars, of the landscape of Mars. Nothing. It's a complete shithouse. There's nothing there. These people are there. Supposedly, there might be people there, and there might be real human beings there who might be there already 5 million years. And you know what I say? If they're that fucking stupid that they still accomplish nothing, why should you want to go there? How come they don't want to come here? They don't want to be forced to come here where there's everything, but we have to go there where there's nothing. How stupid could they be if they still accomplish nothing? There's not even a shopping center there. There's nothing there. Maybe it's a place for Goyim. Could you picture a Jew going there? For what reason? If there wasn't a government, would you think of going there? If somebody said to you, "You want to go to a place where there's nothing?" Where? For my vacation. Where do you want to go? I'm going to a place where there's nothing there. They took a picture of Mars. They actually took pictures of it, and they found the whole terrain is full of sand and dreck and dirt and garbage, and that's it. Just dreck and sand. That's it. There's nothing else there. You take a picture of Coney Island, you got the same thing. But they say, "Whoa, yeah, but we might be intelligent." If they were intelligent, they'd get the fuck out of there. They wouldn't be there. Why would an intelligent person hang around there? Do you ever hear of anything they accomplished there? When did you meet a guy from Mars? Hello, you know what I did? What? Nothing. You never met somebody from there. Then they say that all those seismologists, psychologists, for what do they call them? Astrologers, astronomers. They say that there's a possibility that there was water there before and it's not there now. Let me, do you care? Do you ever get up in the morning wondering, I wonder if there's still water in Mars? They say there might be water there before, but it dried up. Who gives a fuck? But if there was water in your toilet and it's not there now, you got a problem. Does this whole thing make any sense to you? Why is it so important, these excursions to the stars where there's absolutely nothing? America doesn't have enough money to fight for cancer research because we say our budget can't allow it. The housing in America is full of blighted, filthy cities that are full of slums, and they can't even fix a toilet in the United States. Carter has to make a whole campaign all his life about fixing toilets because the government has no money in the budget for. So Carter runs around with a hammer, and every time you see a picture of him, a clap, the hot, he's always fixing the toilet. You got a toilet, a clap. As a president, he wasn't so hot, but it comes to a toilet, you can't beat him. He's fixing, he's clapping and hucking. He always has a hammer, a clap. This is it, because they can't afford to fix a toilet. Now, if a guy has a slum in the United States where 2/3 of the people practically live in slums, and you said to one of these people, would you rather they fix a toilet or you rather go to Mars? What do you think he would say? They don't have money for prescription drugs. People are dying because of no prescription drugs in the United States. Here you have it. We do not have money for prescription drugs. If you have an elderly person who's struggling and passing away because they can't afford a prescription drug, hello, do you know that we could go to Mars? But I'm dying. That's not my business. You have to pass away because we're going to go to Mars. These son of a bitches. This is the most important thing in the world in America. I am so mad that I had to cross my own country and come here just to be able to make this speech. Of course, we live in a free country in the United States, but you can't tell. Because as soon as you say a thing like this, letters come by the thousands. You criticize President Bush, you criticize, especially Clinton. You can't criticize Clinton even more than Bush, especially if you're Jewish. Jews love Clinton. They don't care what he does. If he shot somebody right in the heart, you can bet your life every Jew would say the same thing. Who lives forever? The truth is, if he wasn't a president, he would have been in jail now, because he was found guilty of sexual harassment in the Paula Jones case. He was found guilty and paid $1 million for sexual harassment, and it was sexual harassment because he was a president. If he worked as an elevator operator, you think he would have gotten away with it? He was working as an elevator operator, and every time a girl came into the elevator, he said, "Are you busy? You're not that busy." Come here, hold this. You're not that busy. Come here. He did that to every girl he met. Why do you think he was so great? Everybody said he was a great president. The economy was so fantastic under him. It so happens that Bush is an expert in economics too. They said to him, "What should we do about unemployment?" He said, "Unemployment is not the problem. The problem is that people are not working." But everybody says he doesn't know foreign policy as good as Clinton. Clinton was an expert on foreign policy. That's another Bubba Meiser. He didn't know nothing about foreign policy, but every time somebody said to him, "We're having trouble abroad," he said, "Abroad? Let's go." He spent all of his time dealing with oral sex. His main problem as president was oral sex. That's all he worked on. Other presidents are known for housing legislation, for foreign policy. Nobody knows what he did. The economic policy, nobody knows what he did. He was preoccupied with oral sex. That was his main problem. Every day, did he have oral sex, or he had a little oral sex? Was it really sex? Is oral sex not sex? It might be sex. How much sex is it? And he kept saying it was not sex. It was oral sex, which is not sex. He convinced the whole country that oral sex is not sex. And the whole country was walking around. It's not. I thought it was. He says it's not. He should know this is his field. He says it's not. People started to call up their hookers to get their money back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. It's time to go now because the show is almost over now for the second time. I see you're not in a hurry. You got no place to go either. You thank God because you won't have to spend too much money. If I get out early, you'll have to go to a restaurant and then fight. Because then everybody starts fighting about the check. The richest people in the world, who are the biggest spenders on earth for cars, for boats, for everything in the world, as soon as a check comes to a table, 4 Jews go blind at the same time. Nobody sees the check. 4 Jews become Stevie Wonder, McCook does it. Why is it? Why is it if you buy a sweater and another guy buys a sweater, you don't expect to pay for his sweater and he doesn't expect to pay for yours? But as soon as two people sit down at a table and eat, as soon as the meal is over, each one starts praying that the other guy should take the check. Each one pretends they don't know that a check came, and each one was hoping the cook does it. The cook does it. The cook does it. Everybody starts looking and hoping. Then they start getting busy. So watch a check come to a table. People get busy to pretend they don't know what's on the table. You think that Irving had the right to say to me, son of a bitch, I would never allow that Nazi bastard. Give a cook. Nobody sees the check. Then they start offering. If you don't offer, you look like a cheap bastard. So the whole trick is to figure out how to offer and hope that the other guy pays. So everybody offers, but not too definite. Please, let me take it. Let me. Please, please. Who's stopping you, you cheap bastard? Who's stopping you? Let me. Then another guy pops up. No, no, please, I won't let you. I'm taking it. Oh, you are? It's up to you. It's up to you. Then another guy pops out. No, no, I'm taking. Oh, you're taking. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you. And everybody hollers. I'm taking. I am. I'm taking. I made up my mind. Meanwhile, nothing moves. I know. One guy always pops out. Do they take a credit card here? The Bank of Honduras. Sooner or later, one guy decides to take the check. You ever see what happens? He says, as he's taking the check, everybody says, I'm not allowing you to take it. Please, I'm not allowing. And the other three guys start looking for their money. It was right here. Wait. Nobody could remember where they left it. Please, hold it. Please, I will not allow it. Please. The money's in the same pocket for 40 years all of a sudden. Then the guy that's paying the check asks for a pen. Oh, a pen? They got no. Here's all the pens. They got 20,000 pens come flying out. It never fails. The guy finishes paying the check, and it never fails. The guy comes out of a toilet. They took the check already? I always say, no, nobody took it yet. Here it is. Ah! Men are cheap, but women are even worse. The cheapest people in the world are really women. Women like to pretend to this day that they don't know they're working for a living. They don't know that the whole world changed. They don't know there was a sexual revolution. They don't know that they're making money just like a man. And to this day, if they go out with a man, they never assume it's their obligation to pay for anything. When you take the money, it's feminine. When you get paid, it's feminine. But if you take it out, it's not nice. How does it like? How would he feel if I paid the check? Pretty good. This is the phony excuse they have that it's not right, it's not nice. How could you be a truck driver? The world changed. It made sense 30, 40 years ago when women didn't work for a living, so it's natural and sensible and only common decency for a man to pay the check. But today, women are working just like men. Sometimes they make 10 times more than a man. They could go out with an unemployed busboy, and she's the CEO of a company. And the check comes to the table, none of her business, state does it. Because it's not my place to take the check. I can't make him feel bad. How do you know he'll feel bad, you dreck jente? Why don't you ask him if he'll feel bad, you low-life son of a bitch bastard? Nazi bastards. Why don't you ask somebody? What do you mean he'll feel bad? I'm worried if he feel bad when you took the job. You competed with him for a job, and you got the job. That's why he's not working. And rightfully so. You should have the same competitive advantage as any man in the world for the same job. Now you got it, and you're making the money. And because of you, he's not working, which is very fair. But is it fair that later, when you go for dinner, he has to pay your check yet? First you wipe him out because he's not working, now he has to owe you a dinner, you direct fucking jente. Son of a bitches. Is this convincing enough or not yet? Son of a bitches. They could be truck drivers, murderers, killers, hoodlums. They could go into every business in the world today. But all of a sudden, they're so feminine when a check comes. Are women so feminine any place else? Take a parking spot away from a woman. You ever see what they sound like? Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. No man in the world knows as many dirty words as a woman, but you be blood Nazi bastard, son of a... They know every filthy word in the world. Why is it that the money that you take in, you're not allowed to take out? And why did you get paid? And why did you fight for equality and fight for equal opportunity and equal jobs if you're going to buy nothing? And why do you have an advantage that your money is worthless and his money counts? Why? I asked you 4 questions. You don't know one thing that I'm talking about. You ever see women go out for dinner when there's no man involved? First of all, there's no such thing as a dinner. When there's a man involved, they know only the fanciest restaurants in the world. When they go out with 3 other women, they only go to McDonald's and shit houses of different kinds, where no check is more than $3. And even though the check is only $3, they divide it and divide it. No woman could afford one thing by herself. They divide, everything is divided. It takes 37 waitresses to serve them, to bring forks and knives and dishes by the thousands. You want a cup of coffee? You don't need a whole cup of coffee. I'll take some of my coffee. I'll give some. We will divide it 4 ways. You take some coffee. I'll take. How about soup? You want soup? You don't want a whole cup of soup? I'll tell you what, I'll give you some of my soup, you'll take some of my coffee. Give me 2 more spoons, give me another spoon for him, or for her, or for who, or for her. How about a dessert? I don't want dessert. Do you want dessert? All right, I'll take it. I don't want a whole dessert. You want some of the dessert? I'll tell you what, I'll give you some of the dessert, you'll take some of my coffee. I'll give you whole section 1 glass, and you'll take another glass, you'll take a fork, you'll take a knife, you'll take... You ever see what happens when the check comes? You need 9 Jewish accountants to figure out. You ever see a check comes to a table where women just ate? They're all holding a check up in their hands and all the women are listening. Let me see, who had the soup? I think I had the soup. No, you had the soup. But I didn't want the soup, but you had the soup. But I didn't mean to drink the soup. Yet you drank my soup. But I only touched the soup. No, you drank the soup. But you had some coffee. Yeah, but the coffee is cheap compared to the soup. No, but you had a lot of coffee. I just had a little soup. But how about the cake? I didn't want the cake, but you ate the cake. But I didn't want the cake. Since somebody had tax. Who had tax? Somebody had tax. Son of a bitches. You ever see women who are on a diet when they're with a man? They're never on a diet when with a man. When they're alone with other women, they're only on a napkin diet and a water diet. I'm only allowed to drink water with a napkin, and that's all I'm allowed to have. And we take the water, we divide it 12 ways. As soon as a man shows up, 1 day every 9 years, I'm allowed to have a lobster. It's a funny coincidence. Just when you showed up, when I'm allowed to have 1 lobster and 3 steaks. That's all I'm allowed to have. And this is the same day that my mother is also going off a diet. I'll take 2 more lobsters for my mother, 1 for my brother-in-law, and 4 course steaks. Do you ever see women drink wine when they're with other women? Every waiter, every head waiter, they'll all tell you they never see women drinking wine when they're with other women. But when a man shows up, they know every wine in the world. They're experts on every wine. I drink the Rageux. I used to drink Rembrandt. But I don't like it as much as Grès de Rageux. And it's much better than Grès de Legendre. 1928 was a very good year for Grès de Rageux. You want a glass or a bottle? I'll take a case. I like the way women tell you, listen, women are still second-class citizens, and women still get 7% less on the average for the same job that men get. So if you get 7% less, how can we pay for a check? Pay up to 7% less of the check. You cheap bastard son of a bitch. Not that I want to make an issue out of it. The truth is that women all know all the wealth in America. All the economists tell you that most of the wealth in America is owned by women, because they live 30 years longer than any man. A man is already passing away when he's 58 or 65, and she's still at the best of health, and she's running all over the world when she's 87. And they're burying husbands all over the world. By the time they're 65, they already buried the first husband. Boom, direct. Well, he went. It's like you can't live forever. What happened? It's a shame to see him go, but I got a great condominium, and well... 10 minutes later, oh, hello, what are you, Chinese? That's all right, better than nothing. You feel like getting married? I was never in China before. Why not? I'll take a chance. And here's another bagram, another year later, he goes and she's got another condominium. By the time they're 87, they got 89 condominiums, and Jews are buried all over the world, and 3 Chinamen, everybody is buried. And so you go, hello, where you going? To my next condominium? Not that I'm making fun of it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this time the show is really over. because we can't go on with this. I resent this whole thing. I think I made enough enemies already for every side of every post in this show. But everything I say is the truth because I fight for decency, honor, and integrity. I'm not here to abuse or assault. I'm here for decency. I don't care who the person is. Nobody, especially you as a person. But please don't get insulted by anything I said, that if anything I said does insult you, I don't care. Because if anybody can get insulted when a comedian does a show, he's a schmuck by nature. You gotta be a real putz to get insulted. The man is trying to be funny. You don't have to agree with everything he says. But when people come over or send me letters, why did you say this? Because I felt like that's a good reason. This is supposed to be a democracy. What's your fucking business why I said it? Do I tell you what to say? This is where I work and this is where I talk. And I have a right to say whatever I please, and you have a right not to come in here. I don't mean the people upstairs who got in for nothing. I'm talking about the... And I don't say it out of arrogance because I care about pleasing people. That's why I make sure that everything I say is the truth. When I told you that you got no decency, hello? Notice how I kept the show on a high level? I'm not there like other comedians with filthy jokes. And I don't call this show the vagina monologues or I don't talk about vaginas in public. Who the hell makes that a title for a show? Would you talk to a woman like that? Would you say to a woman, hello, how's your vagina? And what do you mean by vagina monologue? Who talks from there? Nobody talks. Vulgarity became a way of life, even on Broadway. Filth and vulgarity. The only person they want to stop from saying a dirty word is Howard Stern. As soon as he says one word, it's disgusting. They had to throw him right off the air. And as soon as they throw him off the air, what do? They sit down and watch The Sopranos. As Sopranos, they say more filthy words in 1 minute than he says in a whole year. You can't watch The Sopranos for 1 minute without hearing, fuck me, fuck you, fuck him, fuck everybody. They say it to their own mother. Hello, darling. Fuck you, what's happening? Fuck you. Then the kid comes in, how's the fucking family? Fuck, 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 fuck. And they talk fuck this for 2 hours. And as soon as Howard Stern comes in, oh, that's disgusting. Only Howard Stern is disgusting. You can't even watch anything on television that's not vulgar or filthy. Even the commercials, when you're having a dinner, could you eat a dinner today without hearing, what is that about the erectile dysfunction? Every time you sit down to eat, hello, do you have an erectile dysfunction? What's your fucking business if I have an erectile? You have an erectile dysfunction. If it's not erectile dysfunction, it's something in the toilet. Do you have diarrhea? Do you have as much diarrhea as you had before? Do you have a worse diarrhea? Why don't you look it up and see how much your diarrhea you got? And you're trying to eat and say, turn it off, what's with the diarrhea? As soon as you turn it off, I do have constipation. I don't have constipation and I don't have diarrhea, you Nazi bastard. You have irritable bowel syndrome? Nazi bastards. Then you get back to erectile dysfunction. It became the classiest thing to have erectile. I remember the white condom was considered a vulgar word and people never even said it. They were embarrassed to say it. Nobody said the white condom. Today, I don't know how it is here, but in the United States, every 5 minutes, are you wearing a condom? Do you know anybody who's not wearing a condom? Tell them to put on a condom. There are people walking around without condom. We have to find out who they are. If you know anybody without a condom, call up immediately. Condom 784-500. Condom, a condom. And everybody is walking around. Do you have a condom? Do you have a condom? Do you have a... 98-year-old Jews who haven't had sex in 40 years are walking. You have a condom, a condom, a condom. That's all people talk. Every time I leave the house, my mother hollers, take a condom, a condom. Even on airplanes now, they have 2 sections, with condoms and without condoms. The condom, that's all the whole country is involved with, is a condom, and the rest of the time it's erectile dysfunction. Did you ever see that Cialis? Now they're advertising Cialis. Because supposedly Viagra is old, it doesn't work, it's 2.5 hours before it works, so they're debunking Viagra, and all the stations in the United States are advertising now Cialis. Do they have that here too? You have it all the time, Cialis. Works in a second, before you even swallow it. You don't even have to swallow it, as soon as you say, ha ha, make that say everybody. This is so powerful, you don't even need a girl. You just, and there it is. What they tell you. Don't take it sitting down because you won't be able to get up for a month. And then they advertise it without showing you exactly what's going on because they have to show a little class. So they show two people dancing. Hello, do you have an erectile dysfunction? Oh, it's nice to see. I love to dance with you because I see your erectile doesn't dysfunction. What do you do? Then they advertise. Do you ever hear them advertise? If it's still working 3 days later, call a doctor. Would you call a doctor if it's still working 3 days? You got to be some schmuck to call a doctor. Call 3 more girls. That would be. But you could bet your life the only person who's going to be fined for any of this is going to be Howard Stern. They found a tall Jew in bad shape, and they're going to keep persecuting him while this goes on every day. In what way is this any more respectful than whatever Howard Stern says? Is it cleaner? Is it on a higher level? I'm talking to you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We could hang around here for a month. This is supposed to be an ending to a show. This show, by now is, I'll be honest with you, it's really over. It just so happens I didn't leave yet, but the show is over right now. It's really over. Who says I have to go first? I never understood that. Every time a show is over, the performer runs. I'm not that busy. It so happens when the show is over, this is where I like to stand for a couple hours. You want to watch a Jew standing? It's up to you. Mishaloiseinu b'midoto evo Yeshua verachamim Yeshua verachamim Yeshua verachamim